You know, every nation kind of has an operating manual, right? A foundational document that lays out the entire plan for how it's supposed to run. It's like the ultimate architectural blueprint. And for India, that blueprint is its constitution. This thing is a master plan that shapes the lives of over 1 billion people. So let's dive in and see exactly how this incredible blueprint was put together.
And it all kicks off with these 5 incredibly powerful words. Right from the get-go, the Constitution makes it absolutely clear where the real power comes from. See, this wasn't some king or a foreign government or even a parliament granting rights down to the people. No, this was the people themselves making a monumental promise to each other.
And that promise, well, it's all laid out in what's called the preamble. You can think of it as the mission statement for the entire document. It tells us exactly what kind of nation this blueprint is designed to build.
And wow, this one sentence, it's really the heart of the entire promise. It declares that India will be sovereign, which means, completely independent, socialist, aiming for social and economic fairness for everybody, secular, meaning no official state religion, and a democratic republic, a nation run by the people's own elected representatives. That's the core identity right there.
And this republic promises to deliver on 4 huge foundational pillars. The whole blueprint is engineered to secure these for every single citizen. Justice in all its forms, social, economic, and political. Liberty of thought and expression. Equality of status and of opportunity. And fraternity, which is this profound sense of a common brotherhood.
Okay, so the preamble makes this massive promise, right? But how does the blueprint actually make sure it's kept? Well, it builds an unbreakable foundation of what are called fundamental rights. And let me be clear, these aren't just suggestions, they are concrete, legally binding guarantees.
And Article 15 is a perfect example of this. It's a powerful shield against discrimination. It's basically a direct order to the state saying, you cannot treat people differently just because of who they are or where they come from. It's a cornerstone of that whole promise of equality.
The blueprint also confronts history head-on. And think about this. With just one sentence, Article 17 works to dismantle a centuries-old social evil. It's this incredibly profound and decisive statement that legally abolishes the oppressive practice of untouchability in any and all of its forms.
Then you get to what a lot of people consider the absolute heart of the fundamental rights. Article 21 protects the 2 most basic things you have, your life and your liberty. It's a guarantee that the state can't just act on a whim. It has to follow a fair, just, and established legal process before it can ever infringe on either. So what's the secret sauce? What really makes these rights unbreakable? This, Article 32. This is the ultimate enforcement button, if you will. It gives every single citizen the power to go directly to the highest court in the country if they feel their rights have been violated. So these aren't just words on paper, they have real legal teeth.
All right, so let's shift gears a little. We've seen the guaranteed rights that protect the citizens. But what about the instructions for the government itself? What are its long-term goals? What's its North Star?
And this is where you see the blueprint do something really interesting. It shifts from those rock-solid, legally binding guarantees to more of a long-term guide. It lays out a set of aspirational goals to help steer every government in its policymaking.
And this right here, it lays out the difference perfectly. On one side, you have the fundamental rights, which, as we said, are legally enforceable in court. But on the other, you have these directive principles. Now, they aren't enforceable in the same way, but they act as a kind of moral compass for the state. They're the guiding ideals.
So what are these guiding ideals? Well, they paint a picture of the kind of society the blueprint is aiming to build over time. The state is directed to work towards things like equal pay for equal work, ensuring humane working conditions, separating the judiciary from political influence, and promoting international peace. That's the long game.
Okay, so we've got the foundation of rights, we've got the guiding compass for policy, but who's actually driving this thing? Who runs the machinery of the state? Well, the blueprint designs a very specific engine to power the whole government. The whole system is built on these 3 huge, distinct, but interconnected pillars. The executive, which is responsible for implementing the laws, the legislature, which actually makes the laws, and the judiciary, which interprets those laws, and maybe most importantly, stands as the ultimate guardian of the Constitution itself. So, first up, you've got the executive. As Article 75 lays out, this is the team, led by the Prime Minister, that handles the day-to-day running of the country. But here's the crucial part. They're not all-powerful. They are directly accountable to the Parliament, which, remember, represents the will of the people.
Then there's the legislature, which is Parliament, the law-making body. And believe me, its power is huge. Article 3 shows us that it can not only create laws for the whole country, but can literally redraw the map of India by forming new states or changing their borders.
And last, but definitely not least, the judiciary. This is the impartial referee of the entire system. Its job is to interpret what the Constitution actually means in practice and, crucially, to protect those unbreakable fundamental rights we talked about earlier, making sure the rules of the blueprint are always followed.
Okay, and for our last section, we're going to talk about what might be the most brilliant part of this whole design. This blueprint was never meant to be some static monument, frozen in time. It was designed from day one to be a living, breathing document. See, the people who wrote this, they were smart. They knew the world would change, that future generations would face challenges they couldn't even imagine. So they brilliantly built in a mechanism for amendment. This allows the Constitution to evolve and adapt, making sure it stays a relevant, living guide for a constantly changing nation.
But here's the thing, this blueprint isn't just a one-way street. It doesn't just list what the state has to do for you. It also talks about the citizen's role through what are called fundamental duties. It's a powerful reminder that rights and responsibilities really do go hand in hand. It calls on every person to respect the Constitution and to actively contribute to society.
And you know what? This brings us full circle, right back to where we started. The final words of the preamble are such a powerful reminder. This blueprint wasn't forced on anyone. It was adopted, enacted, and given by the people to themselves. The ownership is collective. It belongs to everyone.
And that really leaves us with this one big question. Because at the end of the day, a blueprint, no matter how brilliant it is just a plan on paper. The real challenge, the ongoing story of the nation, is this. What does it actually take to turn the grand promise of this document into the lived, day-to-day reality for over 1 billion people?